Chris Farm,
Well,
dark shadow hanging over us.
I hate to disappoint Norman and Alan, but we don't actually have a motorway widening programme, so you haven't got any to go and raid there. And
It's not a strategic model year program. You're using hard shoulders.
all right, well that's not the same thing at all.
Playing with words.
It's still expensive if you want to. Yeah, okay.
Is there a Roger Ford for the road budget?
we can find one for you fairly quickly. But yeah, as I say, there is no motorway widening programme. We are all going to be facing some difficult privatisations in the coming years, and I don't think it's really for anyone to be trying to put themselves in a position to judge what those are going to be, except that if you look at the big picture, what we need to do is get back, following the international financial wave that's washed across the whole of the world, back into growth more quickly. And we know the one thing that won't do that is moving more prematurely, as George Osborne has proposed, to slashing public spending. So we want to get the growth that allows us to continue to invest in rail. Then we are going to want to continue with the sorts of investments that we've been making in the support for the economy over the past couple of years. And what you're going to want to see, I think, is a government with people who are going to be standing up and making the case for rail. And I have to say, Stephen, that the problem you have is that your boss keeps saying that everything's up for grabs. We're going to look at absolutely everything. Whereas I think you can see from what the Labour Party's done in government, you've got the commitment to Thameslink, you've got the commitment to Crossrail, you've got the commitment to
There's the 1,300 carriages, 42 pence
and
trains being cancelled.
as I'm sure we'll be having the exchange tomorrow morning. We're in year one of CP4 and we've already placed the orders for 540 of the 1,300 HSLOS rolling stock, and the rest are required for, a lot of the rest are required for Thameslink, and that frees a lot of rolling stock out for the rest of the network. But I have a suspicion that we're likely to return to this subject.
Yes. Can we just try to get this clear? I find this 1,300 carriages and all that sort of thing very difficult to understand and disentangle. Stephen will mutter. Who wants to start on this? Well, we were told.
Roger's the expert. Let me tell you what I think Roger might say to you. Sorry?
Why is the government the expert?
Well, I've already seen the government got their sums from the government, so they were going to deliver 1,300 new carriages. Initially, that was going to include the Thames Upgrade Programme, but then it wasn't. So then the number dropped down to, I think it was 974 at the last calculation.
Would you like just a quick summary?
How long have you got? It's been standing up, this is important.
1,300 included about 330 Thameslink vehicles. 543, as Chris said, had been ordered, but the 330 Thameslink will now not be delivered until CP5, most of them, of that 330. So that brings us down to about 970. 543, there was 202 DMU vehicles that's been aborted. There are about 36 or 50 out of tender for London Midland, but really that's about as far as it's gone.
Okay. Let Stephen pick up first and then Chris.
So, as you heard, the 1,300 is not only was a bad start, because actually it wasn't 1,300 in the first place, it was 970, and there were two separate programmes. But the government tried to do them into one programme to confuse everybody. Secondly, as you heard, where is the ordering process? Where is the delivery process? It hasn't happened. The cascade has not happened, has been slowed down in several places, so that you've got huge problems in terms of being able to deliver the sort of services that the the passengers absolutely expect, particularly in places like North of England, where some of the paces are well over the override use. You've now got IEP, which is going for another retest and go and think about. You've got the order could have upgraded the Pendolinos from 9 cars to 11 cars on the West Coast main line. The government agreed to do it in January and then ditched it in February. So that 42 goes away somewhere. And so you are in the process of a rolling stock procurement program that is in chaos. And what is not happening is none of this is being delivered. And at the moment, none of it is being ordered, none of it is being delivered, and passengers are suffering. And this is all happening because the government decided they wanted to take Roscoe's to the Competition Commission, and then they weren't found out that was the way it was going to. They weren't found out to be what the government said was going to happen. And so what we've got here is up and down the industry, rolling stock are being delivered.
And if there is a Conservative government after May 6th of November, what you will restore and put all these numbers back and in some.
Well, I mean, first thing is, Chris knows, is that first thing that's going to happen is that we will go back to the previous method of looking at how you should procure loans. This government loves to micromanage, it loves to dictate, it loves to interfere, and that has been, so far, in the rolling stock area, nothing has been delivered and the passengers are not having it. And you saw a perfectly good method of rolling stock procurement, which was the Roscoe's and the Tops, and there's no reason why that method shouldn't work.
Because it is a point, isn't it? Why should the government actually be prescribing this figures and this sort of rolling stock needs in this way at all anyway?
I mean, even with some of the longer train operating company franchise regimes that people might be thinking about, might think is suitable to some of the franchise areas, the lifespan of your rolling stock goes significantly beyond those franchises. And if we want to get the best value for the taxpayer, I think we've got to be confident that we've actually got some handle on what is going on to ensure that that happens, and to ensure that the big picture work, which we can see is happening in terms of getting the right opportunity to cascade stuff around. Because if you just let Tops go out and buy whatever they fancy, then the opportunities to redeploy and reuse those in the future may be hugely compromised. And I've heard of the sort of glass half empty argument before, but the idea that when we're at year one of CP4 and we've ordered 543 out of 1,300, and we intend to order to ensure that the additional carriages are procured for increasing capacity on the network is there. And I'm going to dare to say that Roger's wrong for agreeing with me, because actually these numbers are currently changing on a weekly, if not almost a daily basis, as we make more agreements with the train operating companies on increased capacity. And I think there's another 3 Tops that we're making announcements about very shortly, that will take the numbers up even further. But I think you have to accept that it was the right thing to do, not to continue with the DMU order at a time when we had the very first question about Coil. What are the prospects for big business with DMUs in the future? I'm not saying there won't be any, but it wasn't the right way to go. We made the commitment to electrification, and we